Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to A Sales Career Made Yours webinar. I'm Dorothy Lee, a financial consultant turned sales manager with Income. Income is a company of opportunities and personal development. So here I am as your MC this afternoon. Over the next hour and a half, we'll be exploring interesting insights into why this is an opportune time to embark on a financial advisory career. Our management and advisors will also be sharing their personal stories. We are also looking forward to share with you our latest Sales Management Associate program, a unique structure and benefits. Just a little housekeeping before we get started. If you have thoughts or you need technical assistance, you may post us a question in the chat button at the bottom of the screen. On the other hand, if along the way you have questions on the SMA program or the roles in income, you can post us your questions in the other Q&A button at the bottom of the screen. For those who prefer to voice your questions, I'm happy to let you know we have a virtual Q&A at the end of our session, where you can have an interactive discussion with our management and advisors. So without further ado, let's start our program with a short video about income. I'd like to turn the time over to Mr. Tan Chuan Hao, our Chief Agency Officer. Do not be surprised how young he is. Chuan Hao started his career as a financial planner 21 years ago while he was still a uni student at NUS. He was 7 years MDRT member and won numerous top awards before his corporate transition. He has since held various management key positions before joining Income as our CAO in September 2019. He is also a chartered financial consultant and certified financial planner. Let's welcome Chuan Hao.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. I have the privilege of being able to share with you some of my thoughts and like what Dorothy has mentioned earlier, some of my experiences over the last 20 over years. I also like to share with you the number of sales career we have in Income, right? So thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. Right, I'd like to start off the afternoon by testing everybody's eyesight, right? Do not adjust your monitor. It is what it is, right? If you look at the middle of the three pictures, that's the original picture. Some of you may have seen this picture before in the past, right? Now, please focus your attention on the middle picture. Please tell me what you see as the color of the dress. You can open up your chat box now, and you can type in WG if you look at it as white and gold. You can type in BB if you think that it looks blue and black. Please go ahead and type in your chat box now. right? So the original is the one in the middle. Do you see it as white and gold or blue and black? Okay, I can see varied responses coming in, some white and gold, some blue and black, right? Really, I think what I'm just trying to share with everyone here, if you stare hard at the dress, it can be either white and gold or blue and black. I was here earlier doing rehearsals with some of my team members, and they were so adamant. One said it's white and gold, and the other one was blue and black, and I had to break up the fight, okay? But basically, what I like to share with everybody, sometimes your perception is not what it seems, yeah? When I first joined the insurance industry 20 over years ago, it was a very, very different industry and a very different climate back then, yeah? You really had to buck the trend, and there were a lot of things that you had to overcome. These days, things have gotten digitalized, they've gotten more efficient, right? But that doesn't take away the need for the human touch and the human contact. So this afternoon, I encourage all of us to open up our minds a little bit, yeah? And be able to see different perspectives as we share what this career is about, as well as the SMA role. I would like to share a little bit back to Singapore stories, right? If you look at the clear blue skies in May 2019, Singapore Airlines, this was in 2019, right? The revenue rose 3.3%, and for the year ended March 31st, and it had its highest ever annual revenue, if you read the first paragraph. That was in 2019. We all know what happened in 2020, right? The bubble burst, and the skies turned grey, and literally SIA cut 96% of its capacity in 2020. Right now, I think they're operating at 8% capacity, double of the 4% that they were operating in last year, but still a far cry from our national carriers' heydays, right? And this is the new world that we live in. And just another illustration on what we mean by the new world we live in. Last year, if you ask somebody, what do you want to be when you grow up, right? You have the usual, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a lawyer. That's the usual answers, right? This year, if you ask somebody, what do you be when you want to grow up? The person will tell you that I want to work in a supermarket that starts with S because of 16-month bonuses. Yeah, so the world has really changed, right? But jokes aside, there are still certain careers that are still doing well. There are still certain sectors that are still doing very well, as I'll share with you shortly. So today I'd like to share a little bit of my own thoughts, having been in a sales insurance industry for the last 20 plus years. Yeah? And I find that many people who are building a career in sales have a couple of things that are common among them. They find their sales career extremely fulfilling, right? They find that they can control their own time. They find that they can have strong job security because as long as you can bring in the numbers, you will have a job, and you are the one bringing in revenue for the company. And that's why a career in sales. There are many, many sales careers out there, and many of these sales careers and many of my friends in sales careers are doing well. By flexibility, I do not mean that you do not have to work. It means that you are given the opportunity and the flexibility of when you want to control your own work time. Yeah? And somebody asked me, hey, but sales career, does it carry with a certain stigma and stuff like that? Having been in this line for a long time, I have some thoughts to share with them. And so it's a good guy friend of mine, right? So I told him, when you and your girlfriend go on dates, right, aren't you trying to sell each other? Right? You're trying to sell to your girlfriend why you should watch an action movie, and your girlfriend is trying to sell you why she should watch a romance sob movie, right? Every day we are in sales. Even when you go for a job interview, you are selling yourself, right? You're selling the capabilities of yourself. So really, every day we are in sales. So some of these skill sets are actually very transferable, right? Once you do well in sales. And as you can see, many career opportunities arise after you have a good career in sales. Personally, for myself, I had to pay Dorothy a lot of money to have a good introduction about myself. But really, as I walked that path of sales, it opened up many opportunities for myself. Yeah, and right now, although I do hold a corporate role, it's because of my early years in my sales career that enabled myself to be able to understand the sales culture and what it takes to be successful. And now my role is to provide that same platform to ensure all of you who join the industry succeed. I'd like to share a little bit about the key benefits, right? Like what we mentioned earlier. I'd just like to summarize 4 of the key benefits. Number 1, many transferable skills and insights into the business world. In my sales career, and many of my friends who are in sales career, they meet many people, many different people from different walks of life, and they have gained a varied amount of experience, learning and catching on from different people. And as being a salesperson, point number 2 is a very highly visible role. Like I mentioned earlier, you are the one that brings in revenue for the company. You will always be needed. You bring in revenue, you bring in profits for the company. And it's highly visible. Once your sales results are strong, once they are good and consistent, you will always have an opportunity to network with the higher leaders in the company. The third point I'd like to share is personal and professional growth. Throughout my years in the insurance industry, there have been various courses and various things that you can take to upgrade yourselves, right? And many of my friends or many of my colleagues that I've seen as well in the sales career have strong personal and professional growth, right? And they can continue to grow with certificates, with courses that they can go for. And they have continued to touch many lives because of this increase in responsibility once they go for a course. There are also endless fascinations as well, right? Because you meet up with a lot of customers, you can understand individuals' goals, which markets they are in, what drives them, right? And you get to understand a lot more things. So the benefits of a sales career are multifaceted, right? It's not just the networking part, your personal development part, but really the many aspects that you can see yourself growing in the career. I'd like to share a little bit about the insurance sector as well, right? My colleague Vivianna will share a little bit more about income as well as the SMA role, the Sales Management Associate role later on. But myself, what do I see so strong about a career in the insurance sector? The first thing is the passive income. As you may know, after a policy is sold, for multiple years thereafter, the customer continues to renew the policy. And as each policy renews, there is a passive income associated with each policy. As you build up your clientele base as well as your base over time, that passive income grows. Unlimited earning potential. Well, we have always heard the saying, the sky's the limit, right? And now, not just the sky's the limit, we provide a very secure floor for you with SMA. Yeah? And you have unlimited earning potential. The more you bring in, the more quality sales you bring in, the more customers you meet, the more lives you touch, the more income you stand to earn. There's a strong variety of work as well. A lot of people thought that, insurance sales is just about selling one policy and that's it. No, these days it goes a lot beyond that, right? People consult you for financial decisions, not just insurance, right? Savings, investments, what do I do? You become like a family friend of many, many families actually, yeah? If you look on the right of your slide, you will see that one of the key differences and what makes income very special is that we like to make a difference. Yeah? Very often we tell our advisors, don't just do well, do good. Yeah? And to put money where the mouth is, we actually contribute very actively to charities throughout the year. There's great flexibility of time as well once you're in the insurance sector. Remember, I stressed flexibility of time. Flexibility of time doesn't mean that you do not work, but you can choose what are your hours that you can work. This is great news for people who have multiple commitments, responsibilities, or are in different stages of their lives. There are few barriers to entry. Like with every professional industry, you have to pass some regulatory examinations. Yeah, but that should not be a barrier to entry. At Income, we also provide strong tutorials, good tutorial support to ensure that you can pass those exams with flying colours. I'd like to share a little bit about how the finance and insurance industry looks in Singapore now. Yeah, despite COVID-19, the sector has been resilient. Pre-COVID-19 in 2019, in this article that you can see on screen now, the financial sector grew 5% in the first half of 2019. Looking forward, I know the dates are small, but if you look at the date of this report, it's in the middle of June, it's in the middle of the year, June 2020, you will see that our MAS Managing Director says that Singapore's financial sector continues to be agile and resilient despite COVID-19, right? This is an extremely strong statement from the top man of Singapore's regulators. How about Singapore's economy, right? If you look at that chart on the left of your screen now, you'll see that the overall GDP growth somewhere in the middle of the chart shows a negative 13.2%, right? That's a contraction year on year in Q2 2020. If you notice, down the whole row, basically everything turned negative. Construction, food, GDP growth, everything is negative except one sector, which is finance and insurance, which grew by 3.4%. And I'm also very pleased to share that despite the gloomy general backdrop of the financial industry as well as the general economic backdrop, Income achieved its highest ever sales record in Income's last 50 years. Isn't that incredible? And that was in October 2020. This really highlights the strength of the insurance and the financial sector, and it highlights income strength in reaching out to the public in Singapore. It also highlights the trust that Singaporeans have in the brand Income. What happens to a regular business in a pandemic, right? I mean, if you look left, if you look right, many businesses have folded. Yeah. I was just congratulating some of our advisors earlier on, and I was sharing with them, congratulations, you did very well in 2020. In fact, you did better than some of the department stores that didn't do so well and had to shut its doors, right? Starting with a certain letter R, but I will not mention names here. But really, as we move on, you can really see that despite COVID-19, there is strong demand for insurance products. Singapore's Deputy Prime Minister has also highlighted the role of insurance in building risk resilience, right? In some reports and in some commentaries, he has mentioned that there's still a wide protection gap in Asia, and if there's a silver lining, COVID-19 has in fact raised awareness of future risks and provided greater impetus to close the protection gap, right? There is still a very strong market in Singapore. People can say that it's saturated, yet our DPM can come out to say that there's still a protection gap in Singapore. I would also like to share some thoughts about mid-career switches. Many of us are very comfortable in our jobs, or we may be thinking, is this the right time for me? Is this the right moment for me, right? And we may be at a crossroads at some point, yeah? But we do see a trend that many Singaporeans are making a move for a mid-career switch. And what are some of the reasons why they're doing so? We have seen reports that say that, don't start thinking about career changes only when you are unemployed. That puts you in a very disadvantageous position. Think about what you want to do, think about what you want to achieve, and think about what are the career choices that can get you there. We talk about a career switch into the financial industry. Yeah. So basically, if you're willing to put in the hard work, the sky's the limit. Yeah. Again, we stress, it is not easy work. It is hard work. But at the end of the hard work, you have very good rewards and recognition at the end of it. We would also like to talk about some of the graduates in the current job market. We have seen many reports recently, and this was one in October, yeah, that we are starting to see some job crunches for graduates from the tertiary market, right? So because of that, government has also come up with certain schemes and grants to help those that are graduating now. And Income has also come up with the SMA scheme to help all of us who can be looking into a potential career switch. We have also seen the mean and average salaries of tertiary graduates drop over the months and the years. If you look at this report from June the 7th, 2020, you can just, if you look on the right of the screen, you will see that for diploma holders, the pay is 2003 on average, down from a high of 2006 previously, right? And you can see this trend across many industries, and it's happening throughout, right? So although I shared a little anecdote and a joke about supermarkets earlier on, we know what is the truth out there, right? I mean, if you look among your friends, if you go to your Chinese New Year mini gatherings in groups of 8 now, you will hear many grim stories, or at the best, neutral stories. You will hardly hear of very positive stories, except perhaps from those in the finance sector who still continue to see strength in our numbers. You can see various reports, right? Although we have shrank down the article sizes all here, but you can see some even January 13, very recent, right? Talking about how difficult it is in a difficult job climate now. Yeah, things have not improved anytime soon, and we don't think that they'll pick up very soon. In the midst of all of that, our Income CEO has come out directly to say that we want to double our licensed financial advisors, right? We want to grow our strength. We have currently around 1,002 financial advisors. We want to grow that to 2,004, 2,005 in a very short space of time. One of the key strengths that we have is the strength of the Income brand, like I shared with all of you earlier on, which is what is very strong in the Singapore market. This brand is an extremely strong proposition, as well as we have very strong training programs, and now we have the SMA in order for us to move very smoothly into the next lap. So really, as I've shared so many thoughts and about the industry, I've shared little anecdotes about how the industry has changed over the last 20 years, about how some of my friends have transited from sales careers, so on and so forth. I think what we would also like to find out is a little bit more about the SMA program. as well as income, right? So before we move on to that, again, I'd like to thank everybody for sharing your time with us this afternoon, and I hope you have a very fruitful afternoon ahead. Thank you.
Thanks, Chuan Hao, for the valuable insights. Not all advisors start off with related sales experience. Let's see how one of our principal client advisor, Hansi, turned the unknown into an opportunity.
我觉得我能走到今天，是因为很多人的帮忙。我刚刚进入 NTUC Income 的时候，我没有经验，学历也不高。我第一个经理对我的那个体谅，到现在12年了，还是很记得那一幕。晚上我做工做到8点，他问我为什么你还在？我跟他讲我今天还没有做到生意，我不敢回家。他跟我讲，你回家，你回家 ，You still have 2 little kids waiting for you. The people who are inspire me the most are my parents. My mom always start her day with a very fresh and positive mindset. My father, he want me to be humble, and he said we have to have an open mindset to learn from another person. When I first joined this company, I just want to get a full-time job because I'm a sole breadwinner. As I learn more about the job, I start to like my job even more because I get to help my customer to get a best protection and coverage for themselves. The bigger challenge while working in this company at first is how to rope myself into this role of client advisor. Because I'm come from another industry, it is very hard for me. So I have to put on double or triple hard to learn all the term and condition, to earn all the product that the company have. With lifelong learning, I believe that we can adapt to any changes. To do well in this job, you have to be truthful and honest, and to put your customer interest first. Always recommend the most suitable product to them. I feel that you have to be more genuine to your customer so that they can give you more referrals. In Chinese, there is a saying, 人在做天在看. So do what is right, even though there's nobody watching.
Hansi, she has been the legendary for RMS. She always at the top. It can be API, SPI, HI, even PA. So this is something that we have to really respect her. One thing I remember most about her is she taught me about the customer relationship. This is the best advice that anyone has given me.
Wow, what an inspiring video. For this next segment, I'm privileged to have 3 distinguished guests to join me on stage. The first guest I have is somebody who is new to the company. She's also one of the first few that has joined the Sales Management Associate SMA program. Can I introduce Kimberly?
Hi everyone, so I'm Kimberly, and as Chuan Hao mentioned, I'm actually the pioneer SMA to join the program. A little bit more about me. So I graduated from SMU May last year, and I actually did a Bachelor of Business Management, majored in Corporate Communications. And I'll maybe share 2 things about me, reasons as to why I find myself here now. And firstly, I think it's because personally, I tend to take a look at opportunities that people may overlook. And I think that's one thing that's really important, the mindset, because there are always opportunities if you're looking for them. And there's always room for you to grow and things that you may not know about yet. So don't just throw it aside and maybe just embrace it. Give it a try yourself. And another reason as to why I'm here is because personally, I actually am quite interested in a role that has some aspect of coaching to it. And ultimately in this program, I'm supposed to be a sales manager. And as a sales manager, I'll have to run my own team, guide them along, and that's something that I'm looking forward to as well. Yeah, so that's a little bit about me.
Thank you, Kimberly. Yep, slightly more accustomed to the company. We have somebody who has been going places very, very fast, seen multiple promotions within a short space of time. Can I introduce our young and vibrant Darren?
Yeah! Okay, my name is Darren. I'm actually from the different industry before I actually joined into NTUC Income from the Furniture Industry Council. Right. So many of my friends actually doesn't know that, or my colleagues here. Okay. So I joined NTUC Income back in 2016. I started with Associate Client Advisor in Bras Basah. A year later, I got promoted to Client Advisor. And in 2018, I got promoted to Senior Client Advisor. And I was appointed as a team manager at the moment. All right. And a year later, 2019, I was promoted to this executive client advisor, right? And 2020 to principal client advisor. And to January this year, 2021, I was appointed as induction manager to basically to groom the next generation and take care of the newbies. Yeah, thank you, Chuan.
Thank you, Darren. Right. Also joining me on the panel, we have somebody who's very experienced in the industry, Vice President and Head of Retail Financial Services, Vivianna.
Hi everyone, my name is Vivianna. I take care of the Retail Financial Services, which is the branch network as well as satellite branches. Like Darren, I also joined insurance from a different industry. For a good 19 years, I was working in a bank. And this last 4 years has been an amazing journey for me, learning the ropes from my colleagues as well as navigating through challenging times. So I must say, it's been most exciting for me. So thank you.
Thank you, Vivianna. Okay, so this is my panel that will be sharing some of their thoughts and experiences with us for the next 15 to 20 minutes or so. So for the first question, I'd like to ask Kimberly, what attracted you to the SMA program and why did you join this industry?
Okay. So I guess to start off, why the SMA program? I actually am completely new to insurance. So prior to this, I only knew about this program because my alma mater, SMU, actually blasted out an email saying the Income was hiring. So being me, I took a look at it. I was like, insurance, I know what people think about it. And I guess for me, I didn't think too much of that because I like to try and do things my own way. And something that I've tried to do very much now is just try to listen to myself, what I want to do and figure it out along the way. And what attracted me to the program, I think, was that during the interview, I heard about what it was going to be like, and there was a lot of structure. So it's proven true so far up till now. I've had my hand held along the way, a lot of guidance and also sharings. I'm really privileged, I feel, to be able to just mingle with people like Chuan, Vivianna, Darren. They're also accomplished. And I think Income really places a lot of focus on my development, and I value that as well. Being given the attention, and I guess it drives me to want to do better.
Thanks, Kimberly. So that was quite a YOLO answer, right? Yeah. Darren, why did you choose to join Income from the insurance industry, and what has impressed you so far?
The reason why I choose to join this industry, as I mentioned, I'm actually from a furniture industry council. People deem as sunset industry. Yeah, we serve the sunset industry, right? But I must say it's not true. The Furniture Council is actually looking after and see all the statistics, right? They are actually doing quite fine. So they are not really sunset, right? But however, I gotta say that after 3 years with the Furniture Industry Council, serving the industry player, I think that it's time for me to go into somewhere that's more vibrant. Yeah, always wanted to see if I can expand my comfort zones and I can see new things. Yeah. So in this case, right, I engaged with an recruitment advisor at the moment. The recruitment advisor actually introduced me different insurance industry. He says, hey, since Darren, you wanted to be in the financial industry, isn't it? Yeah, there's several companies that's available for you to choose. And I actually selected NTUC Income. Why? Yeah, the reason is this company is actually when you talk about NTUC, the first thing that comes to you is fair price. Right? Of course, it gives me a feelings of familiarities. I feel more warm. It feels like, hey, this company seems like more approachable, and indeed, I'm correct, right? Yeah, I will share more, right? So this is one of the reasons I choose this company because of the brand name itself. Yeah, and they actually shows me how the structure and things like that. So I go through that. So I find this company is something that really is somewhere I wanted to go. So I choose NTUC Income. Yeah.
Thank you, Darren. Very very heartening to know that this is a company of choice, and you know that there's been so many things that have gone right for you, and you've obviously capitalized on those opportunities, right? Vivianna will have had a strong role to play in grooming Darren to where he is today.
She did.
So yeah, so maybe I'd like to ask Vivianna, what are some of the things about Darren that you saw was strong about him, and you know, what is it about Darren that caused him to succeed so fast in the industry?
Okay, I think when Darren first joined, I think I came in later than him. Then I recall that he has a very positive attitude. I think even though he came from a different industry, he didn't let all the odds get into him. Hearing him share his personal story about how he did in that furniture industry, and then he's able to transfer that relevant skill set, whether be it people, you know, engaging with people, even to a point of working the extra hours. I think that's what kept him going. Of course, it's never easy at the start, but I think what sets him apart is he never gave up. He stayed positive, and importantly, he made an impactful difference to the people around him. Right while he was learning the ropes, very quickly, I think he volunteered. He stood up. He said he wanted to be a team manager, and within 2 years, I saw him grooming other individuals. So if you ask me whether is this an environment that you can grow, yes, with people like him who have actually made that switch, and with a lot of determination, a lot of time invested and resources by the manager to actually coach him. He is a living example of how you can turn things around in a very short time with a lot of determination.
Yes. well done, Darren. Yeah, so when many of us grow up, we want to be like you. Yeah.
Please guide me.
Yeah, so Darren, when you first started off, was life so simple? I mean, is it that, you know, everyone that you meet are just saying, yes, Darren, I'm just waiting to sign the next policy from you? I mean,
No.
How was it like?
No, it's not that simple. First of all, I'm actually from a different industry, you see. The skills that I learned from there is totally irrelevant from what we are doing day in, day out in this financial industry. So I'm quite blessed. I'm very blessed, I must say. Yeah, that NTUC Income actually have this very well-structured training system that once we are on board, that we will be paid salary and we'll be sent into this training. We call it BES training. We'll be sponsor for our certificates. Yeah, and after that, we are actually deployed into the on branch for OJT, on the job training. Then after that, we'll be sent to attach with a center manager and a team manager, and they will basically help you with whatever is the needs and experience that they will share with you. So far, they have never failed me.
Well done. Yeah, thanks, Darren. So speaking of excellent training programs, right? Kimberly has just been through our 3-month structured SMA training program course. Maybe Kimberly would like to share some thoughts about the training program.
Okay. So right now I'm into my 4th month of the program, but before this, because I am new to the industry, I spent about a month doing my papers. So once I cleared that, I actually went straight into what Darren just spoke about. So this program called BES, Basic Essentials of Sales. And I think that was when the info was dumped on me. So it's all very necessary information that I had to learn. And of course, I did take some time to adjust, but I had a lot of help along the way. So there was always someone I could reach out to for clarification. And I did think that the program was quite jam-packed, but it really kept us going. So we didn't have time to be like, oh no, maybe I need a break. I know, just keep going and keep learning. And so far, I think the momentum is there. I did burn out a little bit, but because I've had friends along the way to help me out, that's really great. So shout out to Jackson, the other SMA that joined shortly after me. And we've been through also branch attachment together after that. So I think that was the most useful attachment for me so far because it really gave me on-the-ground experience. So I was actually posted to the Bras Basah branch. Jackson went to Ang Mo Kio, and these are the 2 busiest branches that Income has for working customers and also for appointments, where CAs handle customers. CAs, someone like Darren, a job that he used to do. So when I was there, I learned a lot about customer service, the kind of grit and the mentality that they need to be able to serve customers well. So that really helped me respect them a lot more. So I want to be a nice customer. I hope everyone else is going to be a nice customer too, if they ever encounter more service staff. And I think one thing I've taken away from the branch attachment also is that insurance is actually really important. So I didn't see as much of a need for it before, but when I was there, I realized there were a lot of claims for cancer. So something that you think will not happen to you maybe, but it's actually quite prevalent, and this is why now I see the importance of being covered.
Yeah.
It's been a good experience so far.
Agree.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Kimberly has brought up a very good point. I think many of us have read reports, right, that cancer strikes typically 1 in 3 or 1 in 4 Singaporeans. There are 4 of us sitting on this panel here. But we're hoping it's the next panel in the next room, right? Yeah, okay, anyway. Yeah. Okay, let's come back to our segment here. So, Darren, you've been a company for a couple of years. You have obviously done very well, multiple promotions over the last couple of years. How would you say income has supported you and groomed you in your journey to where you are today?
I must say, in this industry, stress is definitely a thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So alongside with all the different kind of supports and trainings and individual encouragements, I must share with there's one thing really impressed me along the way, especially last year. Yeah, you know what's to do about the company actually do to you is that the caring that they show to you. That last year there is this pandemic, COVID-19, that hit us very bad. By March, as a RFS client advisor, I was attached to this branch, to this Bras Basah branch, business center set up. Then at the moment, we were forced to close, and all the client advisor are asked to go home. Yeah, and we have to stay home, and of course, we are wondering, like you know, are we going to lose our job? Okay, that's the first thing that comes to us. Then very quickly, the management comes to us, webinar, calm down, don't worry, right? We're not going to fire you, right? Stay healthy, stay safe, right? Then immediately it comes with a lot of trainings and grooming and activities, and we have a lot of funds through the webinars and things like that. And from there, about 2 months' time, if I'm not wrong, it comes out with approval from the government agency and things like that for the remote client engagement programs. Yeah, it's pretty new to us because we usually do face-to-face engagement, customer, you know, all that. So this comes in and enable us once more to be able to serve our customer again. Yeah, so through all this, right, it really I should say the support from the company itself and the caring culture that really helps me a lot. Yeah.
Thank you, Darren. Well, I think Darren has shared some very strong examples of how the company has stayed resilient throughout the crisis. Yeah, and I think one person to take care of all the branches as well as Vivianna. Yeah, so Vivianna, you know, as we braced through COVID-19, there were a lot of challenges, closing of branches, reopening of branches, and all that. What would you say are some of the fundamentals of what makes Darren and his gang so resilient? I mean, these are a bunch of people that have been under your care. You know, you have groomed them along the years. What do you say are some of these key fundamentals that you see as key success factors to let all of them continue to do well and not just survive but succeed?
I think the secret recipe to us surviving this crisis is really the people. I think where Darren aptly described, it's the attitude of our advisors, the family environment, and very immediately when we realized that we were locked down, first thing that comes to our mind was like, wow, there's always this fear, and our operating model had to change overnight. We are not able to serve customers like we used to. I think Darren will attest to that, most of the time the advisors will spend a lot of time at the branch attending to customers, but overnight, because the branch was closed, they need to quickly navigate and relearn to pick up phone skills, talking to customers virtually, the adaptive spirit, how they swung into action and really take it upon themselves, managers alike, advisors alike, all hunker together, spending the additional time to role play, script how they reach out to the customers, and ensuring that things are in order. At the same time, ensuring the safety of our advisors as well as managers. Yes. Right? I think that was, to me, a combination of all the you get to see the real side of how authentic these people are and how humble they are to really strip themselves down to the basic learning, the basics of even picking up a phone skill. So I think I really hats off to them during this period. They kind of just want to relearn everything, and I think that was the spirit that kind of got us back up when we were able to open a branch in the second half. I think that's where we start to really pick up fast. And thanks to our advisors like Darren and our managers, as well as management, a lot of support. And I think that's that nurturing environment, that opportunity that's given. And these people didn't cease to miss that opportunity. When the opportunity was there, they quickly grabbed and go. And I must say that we ended off 2020 in a rather good state, although I must say in Q1 we were all jittery, right? Yeah. So I think that's a critical success factor for us.
Thanks, Vivianna.
Our people.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I think now I change. When I grow up, I want to be like Vivianna now. We have very, very strong people at Income, and you know, throughout everything that Vivianna was speaking about, I think we were all in it together as a journey. It was a year of extreme changes, right? We had to adapt very fast. The fastest to adapt, the fastest, the most resilient and fastest to adapt survived, and not just survived. Many of us took the opportunity and we thrived. And I'm glad, you know, many of us on the team have actually done well. Yeah. Okay, back to you, Kimberly, and
Yes.
probably my second last question to you. This is not an interview question. Where do you see yourself in 2 years' time? And don't say Darren, but where do you see yourself in 2 years' time?
Okay, yeah, so I've put a little bit of thought into this, and I really can't say for sure. So I'm going to be doing my best, or my reasonable best, of course, just to see where I go. I am still really new. I've actually only just started sales this week. So I think what I'm going to be working on for now is the skill set of being a salesperson. So being able to connect with people, being able to bring some kind of value to them, teach them something new, and along the way, I'll see how it goes. I think as Chuan has mentioned to me a lot of times, if you do well in a role, there will be a lot more opportunities coming up. So I'll just take it as it goes, try not to stress myself too much, and just keep the learning mindset. And I believe with that, maybe I'll be somewhere in 2 years, somewhere that I'm comfortable and happy with. Yeah.
That's great to hear, Kimberly. She's very shy and humble on screen, right? When I catch up with her regularly over dinners and coffees, she's a very different person, right? Tells me she wants to do this, and now she's just a shy little Kimberly on stage now. Never mind, it's okay.
Down.
We'll let her be. Darren, any tips for anybody who is considering joining Income or financial planning as a career?
Okay, there is a lot of tips that I can actually give, but currently in my mind there's only a couple of them. All right. The first one. Speaking about SMA program, yeah, a good leader is once a good follower. Yeah. So you need to learn how to follow, right? To comply, and learn how people adapt and adjust, to the situations. Right. So in this case, you'll be able to go further, right? And tap to people around you. Yeah, especially your boss. The last person that want you to fail is your boss. All right. So number two, it will be always expanding your comfort zone. Yeah. The reason why I'm still alive here, all right, is that I always, aside from the caring culture, of course, yeah, to be successful. I'm not saying I'm successful. I wanted to.
You are, though, you are.
Yeah, I hope so. To be always expanding your comfort zone, always try things, always try new things. Good things for this company is that they always love to use, it's either you give carrot or cane, right? This company loves to use carrot. I still remember last year when we don't know how to use the RCE, remote customer client engagement things that we use the webinar to meet customer instead of face-to-face. They actually reward us with a lunch, very expensive lunch box and sent to our place for to achieve that, to get the lunch box, you only have to serve one customer.
Wow.
You don't even have to close that case,
Wow, nice.
The way they encourage it, yeah. So there's one thing that you can always, try out new things in this company, particular in this company, because the culture itself is here. It encourages you to try out new things. Yeah. And the last thing is that, the third point, I don't want to take up much time. Yeah. The last point will be you need to focus on what you should focus. Focus on the people, focus on yourself, focus on the activities instead of the end results. Because why? If your activity buck up, your end result will eventually be good. All right?
Well said, Darren. Well said. Wise words from a young man. Now, I would like to ask Kimberly wise words from a young lady as well.
Closing words?
Yeah. Some closing words of either encouragement or thoughts about to all our audience out there who are thinking of joining this career.
Okay. Yes, for me, maybe speaking to some fellow recent graduates out there, I think society puts a lot of pressure on us to be a certain way or do things a certain way. And I think we really have to try and listen to ourselves more, figure out what we want, not just go with the flow. So I think try and look out for more opportunities. And this SMA program is a good opportunity. So you can keep it in mind, if you really want to get out of your comfort zone, try something new, pick up some people skills and just enhance your skills. I think it's a good way to go and really just listen to yourself. Yeah.
Wise words too from a young lady. I'd like to add on a little bit more to that. Nike slogan, just do it, right? Take the first step, yeah? Maybe I'd like to ask Vivianna as well to share your final thoughts of either encouragement or some of the thoughts you have for our audience out there.
Okay, I think there's no better time than to really act now. And for whether you are a fresh grad or you're a person that's looking for a career switch, I think Income has, as a branding, has a lot to offer. And we hope to see you in terms of making that decision to join us and really be part of the family that continues to make a difference, impactful difference to the people around us.
Thank you. Thank you, Vivianna. Thank you, panelists, as well, for joining us this afternoon. Yeah. I hope you have benefited from some of their heartfelt sharing, whether it's from young Kimberly, experienced Darren, and as well as very experienced Vivianna. I hope you have picked up some tips and thoughts from what they have to share. Yeah. Our next segment will be sharing more about the Income as a company, as well as sharing more about the Sales Management Associate Program. I'd like to introduce Vice President and Head of Retail Financial Services, Vivianna.
Hi all. Hi all. Right, so for this next 15 minutes, I'm going to share a little bit more about what Income is and what we stand for. So we have heard lots about from Chuan how about the insurance industry, from the panel how life has been in Income. So in the next 10 minutes, 15 minutes, we're going to delve a little bit deeper about what Income is about. Okay. So in terms of who we are 51 years old this year, going to be 51. We are a composite insurer. We have over 2 million customers, right, and served by 2,700 employees, dedicated employees, as well as financial advisor. And in terms of credit standing, I think you'll be pleased to know that we, in terms of assets, we manage about 42 billion worth of assets. Credit standing wise, we are AA, very much highly regarded in Singapore. And as a social enterprise, we continue to do good by allocating part of our resources to helping the beneficiaries. And how do we continue as a company to continue to make that difference? Well, as you can see from the many pointers here, we continue to serve the segment, the underserved segment, whether it be the senior or even the special needs segment, right? This is part of our DNA. And what sets us apart is really in this day and age where we are going digital, we are going more agile, Income as an insurer has always been out there trying to disrupt the digital space by offering solutions via online. And if you have read the news lately, Stack, which is our recent innovation, has actually kind of overwhelmed parts of the market with almost 80,000 subscribers. So in the insurance space, I must say that we continue to innovate. And because of our rich franchise, the insurance offering beyond just the products, I think customers, our policy holders get to reach out to have access to almost 300 panelists, right? And I mean that's what set us apart all this while. And if you are a driver yourself, you will know that Income is the #1 motor insurer, and we continue to do that year on year, and that's our pride and joy. And not forgetting our people, our insurance advisor, our financial advisor, are in a way equipped with AI, right, to continue to serve our customers virtually wherever they are. Right, and as Chuan earlier alluded, we have been given a mandate, right, to double our financial advisor, and we want to do that because income itself has a very compelling proposition. And why do I say that? Yeah, so why income? Yeah, so you will be wondering why now? Why income? Well, let me just spend the next few minutes just to share with you how good we are, especially where this SMA or Sales Management Associate program is. It's the first of a kind, I must say. Why? Because it allows a new incumbent like yourself to be able to access 3 different setups. Right, and as we all know, most insurers are by definition an agency model where it's fully commissioned, right? You get to be entrepreneur, you have that flexibility, full flexibility. The other channel that avails you the opportunity to have that salaried scheme, that's where Darren and myself come from, the retail financial service, right? So it gives you a flexibility in terms of managing your income. And then we have the other extreme, which is the open architecture, which is infinitum financial advisor. If you feel that you probably have spent some years in the financial industry and you want something where you're not just not tied to one agency, infinitum has that solution for you, right? And beyond this, beyond the infrastructure, what the SMA program affords is actually a structured sales training program, development program, and it gives you the opportunity to learn and be part of the RFS, the retail franchise, where you learn both the servicing, the claims experience. You go through that whole route of engaging customers, honing your skills and learning how to service the customers and turn that service opportunity into a sales conversation. Like earlier on what Darren and Kimberly alluded to, that's also that mentorship. I think nowhere in most programs you are either hired and put on a job, OJT most of the time, but here we are intermittently. In that 18 months program, you get exclusive access to senior management, Chuan House and the likes of Chuan House. As you learn and grow in this unique industry, it's not easy. Insurance is really not easy to understand, but with so much help given, I think that learning curve is really smoothened out for you. Also, that opportunity to rotate in that 18 months, you will be able to get insights into how insurance work behind the scene, beyond just peddling insurance solution, and to kind of give you comfort so that you can learn and grow at the same time. We have added that competitive compensations package so that you don't really need to think about, worry too much about bringing that dough back. And if you do well, and if you have aspirations to want to really cut short and learn as fast as possible and grow with the company, we have that accelerated career progression path for you. And then you may ask, what is this SME program? What does it attempt to achieve? Well, we all know not everyone is cut out to be salesperson. That's why we offer a dual career choices for you, whether you want to be a specialist in the advisory front or you aspire to be a sales leader. This is in a way a dual track proposition. Right, and in essence, if you look at the bottom gray box, beyond just what I alluded earlier, that structured training programs that takes you through almost 6 to 9 months of learning the basic tenets of insurance, it's really to provide you with that comfortable environment, earn as you learn, and at the same time learn from the seniors, learn from the service team, and gives you that opportunity to also immerse yourself and smoothen out your learning curve, right? Beyond which, there's also that mentorship program, job rotation, so that beyond just selling insurance, there's more to it actually. How we continue to support you in terms of ensuring your success. right? And that also that accelerated path, as Darren earlier mentioned, the sky is really the limit, and how you want to evolve into that role, it really depends on how far you want to stretch yourself. So there's, the SM program has 3 parts to it, right? For any new advisor, even if you're an existing advisor, we all start to be trained as an advisor. The first step is to clear the relevant papers, right? Go through the product training, get yourself equipped in terms of the basic knowledge. That will easily take you about 3 to 6 months, depending on your pace. And the next stage, which is the second phase, beyond, that's where you get plugged into the system, be part of the induction program, be part of the larger community where you will start to hone your skills, right? While you are taught the basic concepts, you are also will be guided by the supervisors to learn how to be able to grow in that role, right? And really hone that skills and immerse yourself, be it the light branch environment or the hard branch environment, learn together with the other advisor. After about a year or so, that's where you can really think for yourself whether should you want to continue in that salary environment, or are you ambitious enough to take that leap of faith and say that no, I think I would want to venture further. I want to be in control, to have that flexibility to determine how much I want to work. Then maybe agency is a good proposition for you to consider. Whichever track that you choose, I think it really depends on what you want to achieve at the end of the day. Right, and as I mentioned earlier, in income, we have a dual track. We offer dual track for outstanding individuals like self, whether it be a salaried scheme or a commission scheme. As you can see, the career roadmap is already mapped out for you. So an outstanding example will be Darren. Darren himself walked through that mile of a client advisor, and now he's officially a CM, a center manager with us. Right, and if you would like to undertake the agency route, you can start off as an FC and eventually rise up the rank to be like a GSM, right, a group sales manager. And just before I end off, I would like to just share a little bit of verbatims from Kimberly and Jackson, who's not here today. And these are the two first batch who have gone through that learning journey with us. And I must say, and it's encapsulated in their verbatims with us, right? The day that they join their program, it's a holistic environment, a holistic program that gives them snippets of what's it like to be a full-fledged advisor. So with that, I just want to summarize and kind of leave you that thought with this quote: passion is the difference between having a job and having a career. So if you have that passion, we have that career for you.